Hello, everyone. My name is Kimberly Wise, and today I will be presenting Inclusivity for All, a look at LGBTQ youth programming in public libraries. This is being recorded for the LIS 536 Multicultural Materials course during the fall of 2022 semester. I chose this topic to highlight the importance of including LGBTQ materials in a public library collection, as well as including them in youth programming. On a personal level, I reside in the South within a predominantly undiversified demographic consisting of mostly white heterosexual families. To put it simply, our public library, for the most part, reflects on our community, and I find it difficult sometimes to find diverse books, and more specifically, books that include LGBTQ characters or themes within our children's or young adult collection. The purpose of my discussion is to show simple changes that can be made to libraries like mine to increase inclusivity for the LGBTQ community. First and foremost, I would like to explain why this topic is so important. According to an article written by Tiffany Robinson, many times LGBTQ and gender variant youth are not given opportunities to form positive identities through various information searches. If you stack that on top of the potential lack of support from families and the bullying from peers, they are more at risk for depression, homelessness, and suicide. Robinson also states that when their information needs are excluded from the priorities of the library, we are sending a very clear message that they simply do not matter. As an organization that centralizes around helping all, we need to do better. Robinson explains that many of them may not be coming to the library because they feel safe or welcomed, but simply because they have nowhere else to turn. We may need to identify areas of improvement within our policies, as well as ensure that our staff is trained properly to provide adequate services for this group of young people. Simply applying for a library card typically requires a patron to fill out a form that asks about gender. This can be very off putting for an individual that does not feel comfortable answering that. The application also typically requires an address. This could be off putting for the homeless. Even a basic human right to use the bathroom can cause discomfort due to gender specific bathrooms. This is just a small list. This is certainly not all that can be done. We need to take a good hard look at our collection and determine if they include a healthy amount of quality, relevant, up to date materials that include LGBTQ themes and characters for both the children's library and the young adult library. Simply having them in our collection is not enough. Hiding them away on the shelf does not help anybody. We also need to understand that only displaying them one time a year for Pride Month is insufficient. They should be showcased and displayed always to try and eliminate the stigma and create a feeling of normalcy. Now, I'd like to get into some programs that I would like to suggest to help with that. The first suggested program is a subversive story time. Children's librarians can make simple, intentional tweaks to story time to help teach both children and caregivers about inclusivity and diversity, to include sharing materials that include many different types of families. According to an article written by Naidu in 2013, with a little ingenuity, children's librarians can find ways to subvert the traditional heterosexual notion of families and normative view of gender to be more inclusive of LGBTQ families in these programs. Using books that show different types of families, same sex friendships, or gender bending characters can help normalize the experience of LGBTQ children. Community partnerships with larger organizations and events would also be beneficial, such as gay pride celebrations. The library can also hold book talks that include LGBTQ themed young adult titles. Parks, who is an openly queer educator, explains that there has been an impressive explosion of quality materials available. However, libraries continue to shelve them, give the impression that they are simply being hidden away. Parks explains the importance of librarians and educators to become active in addressing the issues that LGBTQ teens face. For example, implementing anti bullying campaigns or forming gay straight alliances. Parks explains that it is our job to keep abreast about new authors, series, and content to ensure that we are offering quality, relevant, and up to date material. Simply having the books in the collection is not enough. There must be a connection made. Book talks give an opportunity to expose teens to the diverse material and engage them in conversations. This is not only helping the LGBTQ community see themselves in the literature, but it also sheds light on the challenges that people of this community face to others. One last type of programming that I will mention is drag queen storytime. Implementing this type of programming helps to provide a feeling of inclusion and belonging to the LGBTQ plus families, while also educating others about diversity and inclusion. These story times generally include a drag queen performer reading children's books and sharing songs, very similar to the traditional story times. According to Naidu in 2018, many of these programs often focus on creativity in general, as well as gender creativity, or include LGBTQ plus children's literature as a way to normalize the experience of rainbow families. Moving on, tips for handling some of the challenges that might be faced implementing these programs. Despite the need for these types of changes, there will undoubtedly be some pushback from certain members of the community. Though the article mainly focuses on implementing a drag queen storytime program, Davey wrote in 2020 on how to handle the challenges. As the manager of the Children's and Youth Services at the Halton Hills Public Library in Georgetown, Ontario, Davey highlights the importance of our policies in place. They guide our actions and defend us when challenged. Communication is key. Making sure that administration is aware that there may be pushback is very important. Make sure that anyone handling the marketing of these programs is not only prepared to create promotional material, but also have the ability to answer complaints. Make sure frontline staff is well educated about the program and encourage them to direct any complaints to an objective, preset procedure such as a complaint form. Communicating with stakeholders such as library boards or local governance to advise that there could be potential for complaints is also important. Communicate with the performers so that they know what to expect on the date of the program. Don't only communicate the program to public, but promote it. And even let the public know why the library finds this to be important. Address the complaints appropriately and respectfully, ensuring that you are listening to concerns, but also explaining why the library is going to move forward with it. In conclusion, though there have been steps made to move in the right direction with this topic, it is clear that we have a long way to go. There is a need to focus on the information